Hi and welcome to Rosala's Family Kitchen. I'm going to be doing a Cuban style breaded steak called Bistec empanizado. I'm using, for the marinade for the meat, is going to be mojo from the Goya brand. That's the one that I like. And just a little bit of salt and pepper. That's it. And then for the breading, we're going to do an egg wash, and we're going to bread them with this seasoning. So here we go. First things first, get about a 1/4 teaspoon, or you can do about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt on each side of the steak. Maybe a little less than half a teaspoon. You don't want to put too much salt because the breading that I'm using is already seasoned. So this is just to give it a little bit more flavor. So it's going to be salt. Same amount of pepper, just a little bit. Remember, you don't want to put too much of the pepper because it's not meant to be spicy. And then I'm going to use, for my mojo, I'm going to use, I have it. Where'd it go? Here. Just a little 10 ml syringe you can get from any pharmacy. I'm going to fill this with 10 ml of liquid. And that's that Goya marinade that I showed you in the beginning. Just a little bit of liquid, about 10 ml. Let the air out. There you go. And then we're actually going to let a little bit of air in so that when I get it, it all comes out. I'm just going to put a little bit of mojo on the steak. Just a little bit, about 10 ml. And that's enough for the entire steak. You don't need to put too much. Now on the other side, we're just going to put a little bit of salt. We're not going to put any pepper, any mojo, any of that, because we already have that on the other side of the steak. So we're just going to get about a 2-finger pinch of salt and just, yeah, my hands are wet, so that's not going to work. Bit of that of the steak, and we're going to do the same for all of them. So maybe get a little bit of the liquid if you can. Just a little bit of the liquid. You don't want to get too much liquid for the other side. Just a little bit of the liquid. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had a little bit of a issue with, not an issue, just my nephew came in, and I was just trying to let him know that I'm recording a video, so it's nice and quiet. Same thing again. A little bit of salt. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of mojo, we're doing about 5 ml this time. It's not going to work, so we're going to use a different go. All right, I'm gonna come back once I've finished seasoning all these steaks. And show you a little bit of what it looks like, all right? What it looks like when they're fully marinated, and then we will start breading. I'm still seasoning the steaks, but I thought I'd show you a little bit more what I'm doing. I switched from go. I'm making a bit of a mess. So instead of just, I'm gonna just go like this, hang on. And just kind of wipe off the, there we go. I had to cut a lot of fat off of these steaks. These steaks were not the best quality, so I had to get a lot of fat off of them. So sorry for that noise. That's my dog drinking water in the background, a little loud. seasoning these steaks with a little bit of salt, pepper, and mojo. And we're just letting them marinate for a little while. About 15-20 minutes of marinating, and then I will start breading them. So I'll be back in a little bit. The steaks are fully marinated. I'm gonna let them sit for about 30 minutes now before I start breading them. So this is what they look like. They're gonna sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes, and then I will start breading them. I'm gonna make the black beans that go over the steamed rice. I'm gonna use the can of Goya black beans. They're already cooked. Then I'm just gonna put them in a pot, and I'm gonna season them with salt, pepper, comino, oregano. I'm actually gonna make a little sofrito on the bottom of the pan before I do that. So I'm just opening the can up. I'm gonna turn on the heat to medium. I'm gonna get olive oil. A little bit of olive oil on the bottom of the pan. A lot of salt, because these things will use a lot of salt. So we're gonna open and get a little handful of salt. And we'll taste it later if we need to add more, but that's a good start. Same thing with the pepper. Get a little handful of pepper. A lot less pepper, okay? Pepper. I'm gonna get garlic. Shut off. I just want to heat up the pan. And this. I'm going to use a little bit of minced garlic. Okay, just a little bit of minced garlic. Use about a teaspoon of that. And I eyeball it. I'm not going to do it 100%. Just going to grab about a heaping teaspoon of garlic. Throw that in there. Maybe a little more. Throw that in there. I'm going to cut up half of a red bell pepper that I'm going to throw in the pot also. Let me find it. Yeah, I know I have it here. Red bell pepper. Chop up a little bit of that. That's going to help sweeten it up a little bit. I'm going to rinse it with warm water. It was in the freezer, so we're going to rinse it with warm water. Kind of get a little bit of that, the seeds out. So that's rinsed out, ready to go. I'm not going to use a full half. I'm not making that much. So I'm just going to cut here. Like that. And I'm going to cut here. Like that. And that's good. You don't want to put too much in there. It's just for flavor. Then I'm going to go ahead and chop it up in little pieces. Trying to see so you guys can see what I'm doing. Throw that in the pot. Put that on medium. And we're just gonna go ahead and let this cook down a little bit. With the salt, pepper, garlic. Put a little bit of onion powder in there. We're gonna add the rest of our seasonings. It's gonna be onion powder. We're not gonna put garlic powder since we put fresh garlic in there. We're not gonna put garlic powder, but it's gonna be onion powder, oregano, cumin, and if you want to, you can always add a little bit of bay leaf. If I have any, I'll see if I have any in here. I'll add like a little quarter of a bay leaf. Let me see, do I have any? Nope, I don't. So, you know what? I do. I'll put a little bit of bay leaf. Put the last of my bay leaf in there. There you go. Whoa, that made a mess. Hang on. Then we're going to cook this down just a little bit, kind of soften the bell pepper a little bit. Now when you make these fresh, without, not using the can, you kind of always want to add a little bit of bacon, or we call it tocino, which is it's the same thing as bacon. Just add a little bit of that in there to help it render the fat, so you can get the flavor of that. That's like if you're going to make it fresh, but because we're doing canned, we don't have to put the bacon in there because it's already cooked. The beans are cooked. So what the bacon does is it makes it, it gives it a little bit more flavor. But we're gonna grab the can of beans and we're just gonna pour the entire can in there. And the beans are already cooked. Like I'm saying, we're just heating them up and flavoring them up, okay? This is just to give it a little bit of flavor and get them heated. Get them heated through, and then we're gonna leave them on for about 10 to 15 minutes at like medium high. Right in between medium and high. We don't want to put it too high, not too low. We want to just kind of cook these down a little bit. And then once it's done, I'm gonna add more salt because I guarantee you I did not add enough salt. I'm gonna grab a little handful of salt because I know myself. One more pinch. There we go. And then at the end, when it's done, when they're done completely, we want them to thicken. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a tiny bit of vinegar and a tiny bit of sugar. And what that's going to do is it's going to let the sauce for the beans thicken so that it can be more of like a not a paste, but it's going to be thicker. This is very watery right now while they're cooking. So it's just going to, we're just heating these beans up. Let them come to a simmer for a little while, about 5-10 minutes, and then I will come back. And here's what they look like in the pot. Whoa. Okay, that's just everything that we put in the pot, and it's just simmering. It's gonna start simmering now. We're gonna cover it, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes. And we're doing this while the steaks marinate. So I'll be back in a little while. In fact, I'm gonna cover it. with this lid right here. And we're just gonna let it cook there for about 5-10 minutes. I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. We'll taste them, make sure they taste okay, and then they'll be done. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, it's starting to really smell good in this house. We got the beans are going. A few more minutes. We're gonna let them cook down for about another 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and taste them. Make sure they taste okay as far as flavor. If they need more stuff, we'll just add more seasonings to them, but this is what they're looking like now. There you go. You can see them. There you go. See how the broth is like a almost like a purple? That's what you want it to look like. Okay. I'm gonna taste it real quick. Let me get a spoon. I'm gonna rinse this spoon off that I used for the garlic. I don't want that. Rinse that off real good. And I'm gonna get a little bit of the broth. That tastes good. Maybe a little bit more. Nope, doesn't need anything else. Let me try it one more time. One more taste test. Those are good. All right, got it. Right on. So now these are done. These are hot, ready to go. I'm gonna shut it off. They're off. I'm gonna add, like I said, a tiny little bit of vinegar and then about a teaspoon of sugar. I'm gonna get regular white vinegar. Do we have any? Good question. I don't see any. Okay. So we don't have the vinegar that I wanted to add, which sucks, but it is what it is. I'm gonna grab a tiny little bit of sugar, just regular white table sugar. Just enough to fill the bottom of the container, and just a little bit of that. No, I'm not even putting all in there. I'm just gonna mix it up. Let that kind of and that, my friend, is the timer for the steaks. So now I'm gonna start doing the breading for the steaks. Hey guys, I'm back. Let me get it to focus on me because it's focusing on, I don't know what. Hang on. There we go. Maybe it'll get me now. There we go. Okay, so we're starting the breading process. I'm gonna pour the seasoning onto the pan here. And then I'm gonna make my egg wash. And really my egg wash is, I'm just scrambling 4 eggs. And it's gonna moisten steaks so that we can then put them in the breading, and then from the breading we're gonna get them onto another pan. And once again, once we do that, we're gonna wait, sorry for the noise, but we're gonna wait another 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes actually, so that the breading sticks to the steak, so that when we fry them, we don't lose any of the breading, okay? I'm I'm putting about a pack and a half first, and then I'm going to get a, push this back a little bit, have a little more space here. There we go. Okay. So now let me get another pan. So now I have my other pan that I'm going to put here to transfer the breaded steak from the breading to the resting area. So now I'm going to start cracking my eggs. I'm going to crack 4 eggs, and we're going to make an egg wash. I'm going to grab a fork. Because all we're going to do with the egg wash, we're just going to scramble the 4 eggs and make an egg wash so that we can then moisten the eggs in that egg wash. Let's see if I can. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry for the weird angles. I'm trying to adjust my. This is my first video, so it's gonna look like crap, but eventually I'll get better. But yeah, we're doing scrambling 4 eggs. And this is just the egg wash that's gonna so you can see I've got 4 eggs in my dish. I'm gonna scramble them up. I did the beans while I was waiting for the steaks to marinate. Now that they've marinated, I'm going to start doing the breading, and I'm just going to so now I've got the egg wash made. I just basically scrambled 4 eggs. There's no seasoning in the eggs because the seasoning is already on the steaks, and then from the steaks it's going to go into the seasoned breadcrumbs, so you don't want to put too much. Back this up a little bit. There we go. Now you guys can see a little bit better. I gotta put it way far back so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see. It's a little better. Okay. I'm not gonna be really in the shot. I just want you guys to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna grab one of the steaks. I'm gonna put it in the egg wash. Okay. Do it on the other side real well. Drip it down. Let it drip all the way. Kind of wipe it a little bit on the edge. Put it here on the edge of the pan. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay, it's focusing on the steaks. There we go. That's what I want. So, we're going to I'm going to grab some of the breading here, and I'm just going to put it over the top of the steak. I'm going to spread it, and I'm going to press it in. I'm going to do it on the other side. Do it on the edge. And the steak, I'll show you what it's going to look like because it's not focusing on the... This is what it's going to look like, just like a breaded steak. And you're going to put it like so on that pan. There we go. Like that. Lift it up just a little bit. There we go. That's better. So now I'm just gonna keep doing what I just did until I use up all of the meat. There's another steak. I'm gonna keep doing that until I get all the steaks breaded, and I'll come back to show you what they look like. Sorry, that was my glucose monitor that shut off the recording. I have a Dexcom, and when it beeps when I'm low, and I'm apparently low, so it stops the video when it beeps. Sorry. Put it over here like that. Move up a lot of the breading. Another, maybe have like one more steak and like some bits. Then I'm gonna add a little bit here that didn't get it. Doing my last steak. This is the last steak. I'm gonna put it here. Now I'm gonna let them rest for about 15-20 minutes, just to make sure that all of the breading kind of sinks into the meat, so that when I fry them up, they don't fall apart. The meat doesn't, the breading doesn't fall off of the meat. So just doing a little bit here for my puppy. Give him a little bit. Come on, his little bit. So. Now this is trash. And now that's ready to go. And we're just gonna let it rest for about 15-20 minutes. Here's what they look like when they're completely breaded. And we'll start cooking here in about 15-20 minutes. All right, guys, as you guys can see, I'm getting ready to fry the steaks up. I've got the oil here getting hot. Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see, I've got the oil getting hot here. I'm getting ready to start frying up the steaks. I'm heating up the beans. Those are ready to go. Let me just spin them around a minute. Spin these beans around just a little bit. These suckers are ready to go. Beans are done. Oh. Turned off the wrong. You want to use a deep skillet because you got to get about a ½ inch of oil in the bottom of your pan so that you can hear it popping. It's ready to go. Nice and hot, ready to go. So I'm going to grab my first steak. So it's a little yellow. That's what you want. And you just throw it in the oil. Give it about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And then you're going to flip it over. And here's what it looks like when it's completely done. Kind of bubbles up a little bit here in the middle. So. And the way we did it, where we let the breading set in, is good because now when you fry it, it doesn't, the breading doesn't come off the steak. You don't want to overcook it, you just want to cook it enough. You don't want to overcook these. Because they're still thin steaks, they're not thick. The steaks aren't thick. They're thick, but they're not like your normal ribeye style steak. They're a thin steak. And then we're going to serve this with the rice and beans that we made. I've got the rice here in the rice maker. I don't know if you guys can see it over there. There's the rice in the rice maker. And that's going to go over, and the beans are here in the pot behind. So we got one steak down. Get our second steak, second piece, and we're just gonna keep frying them up until they're completely done. I probably won't fry all of these steaks because there's a lot of meat, but I'll fry enough to feed the fam. I probably won't fry my dad's steak or the rest of the steaks until my dad gets here. Cause you don't want to eat these unless you don't want to fry them unless you're ready to eat them, because they won't. They'll be soggy. You kind of want them a little crunchy, so. There we go. That's a better angle right there. There we go. Much better. I'm going to fry 2 more steaks. And that should be enough for right now. Until my dad gets home, and then I'll fry his up. Again, like I said, this is my first video on this channel, so it's not, the editing's not going to be the great, the camera angles aren't going to be the best, but for right now, until I get my camera angles at a better shot, I think I got a pretty good setup here. I just got to get a better setup for my camera so that my face tracking doesn't move too much, because I have a face tracking tripod, so. There we go. I guess when I have it further, it's got a better face tracking. So. I'm going to do like that. Not too overcooked. This is the last steak I'm making. Fry this last one up. Alright, thank you all for watching. Hang on 1 minute. I'm going to plate it up real quick and show you what it looks like. You know what? I might have to fry up one more piece of steak. Hang on. I'm gonna have to fry up one more steak. Frying up one more steak. I was done, but I wasn't done, so I had to fry up one more steak. It's the last steak that I'm going to fry up. So now I'm going to plate it up. I'm going to get plate. I'm going to get rice from the rice maker over here. Put 2 scoops of rice. Then I'm going to grab a steak over here. I'm going to grab this steak here, put that down like that. I'm going to put that down like that so I can put the beans. And then we're going to get some beans here that are nice and hot. Get a scoop of beans. Some fried back beans in there. A little bit of beans. Ooh. Grab that bell pepper because we don't eat that. That's just for flavor. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And you can actually have it with some fried bananas, but I didn't get those ready. This is what the plate looks like. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.